Yo, what up, friends? I had at least 4 or 6 wins in the quads. So in quad one specifically, quad one I should be talking about specifically. So pretty crazy, but you knew UNC was going to get in. I don't know why you would think anything different there. So, but again, we talked about all of that, the media rights, how much more viewers they're getting. And now the women also have an equal conference fund. This is where conferences get money distributions from the NCAA based on how many teams from their conference get into the tournament and how many times they win games in the tournament. Then that conference gets more money. So in the men's side, it's between 170 and 180 million that are divvied up between conferences. Like, for instance, the SEC this year with their record number 12 teams will wind up with $26 million to distribute to their schools. Also, they then win money based on gain more money, based on every win until through the national championship game. Now, the women's is not as much money as the men's, obviously, since their media rights deal is not that much, but at least the women get that now, because just before last year, women schools didn't get these money distributions. They didn't get the equal conference fund. They didn't get any of this. It was just now instituted once they got their new media rights deal. And Don Staley, the aforementioned that Champ and I were talking about, has called it probably the best invention for women's basketball in terms of boosting the game up. Another fun fact, sports books project a record $3.1 billion. See that pinky ring is actually on the ring. It's a nice ring. Thank you to my beautiful and lovely producer who bought me that ring. But anyways, billion projected to be bet on March Madness this year. I know I have already bet a little bit of money, and I still haven't even filled out my brackets yet or done squares or done my actual day picks every day. So I'm sure I will bet at least a few $100s this year on March Madness myself alone. So, right. Money makes the world go round, as I said. Shout out. We have got to give a shout out to Dick Vitale. Yes. Oh, shout out Felicia. I see you tuning in. Yes. A club's cousin, one of my favorite people. I love Felicia. She says, of course, the women are making less, but things are a-changing. Yes, damn right they are, and they deserve to be. The women's game is on fire, and women's sports in general are on fire and deserve to be highlighted and deserve equity and treatment, and maybe not money, because the media rights are obviously two different media rights. But once 2032 comes along and they work those deals together, the women's pay better go up a lot more than it is now. But yeah, we're very happy that the women are finally getting their just due. Moving on. Unrivaled tonight. Yes, Unrivaled. If you do not watch the women's basketball game, Unrivaled, it is a new, I talked about it on this show. I talked about it on The Bottom Line. It was a 3-on-3 league where a lot of the WNBA players could go and play and not have to worry about going overseas. And, we have talked about that here on this show, where we talked about how the women have to go travel to overseas countries to try to get more money, because obviously in Russia, they may pay like $1 million versus whatever you have here. But then you end up with the Brittany Griner situation, which is obviously nothing that we ever want. In this lifetime. Before, you know what? And I apologize. I forgot to show the men's bracket. Well, you just got to tune into the Bottom Line Sports tomorrow. We'll be talking about it all show tomorrow. So tune in there and you can see it there, because I'm not going back now. Unrivaled tonight has their championship game starting. Actually, it started at 7:30 Eastern. It's on right now on TNT. The Chelsea Grays Rose will be playing Ryan Howard's Vinyl. And Unrivaled's MVP this year was Nafisia Collier. So shout out to Nafisia Collier for winning the Unrivaled MVP. But unfortunately, her team was bounced from the playoffs last night, and so they did not make the championship game. I'm actually going to get you an update here. I'm going to find out right now what the score is. As I say, I like to keep y'all updated and learned as best as possible on this program. So let's go ahead and give you a live score update here. And we have, let's see, after the first quarter, let's see what we got here. Unrivaled first quarter score, Rose, Chelsea Green's Rose, 19. And then the Vinyl, 16. So a 3-point game, 19-16 after the first quarter there. So I'm actually going to get off of here after I'm done and go watch the rest of that. Shout out to those women. What else in the college basketball world, or in the basketball world, rather, the college basketball crown? And you'll say, what is this, Omar? What are you talking about? What is a college basketball crown? Well, this is the newest NCAA basketball tournament. They got the NIT, the National Invitational Tournament. This is another one to try to get more of those teams that didn't make it into March Madness, giving them more action, giving their schools more exposure, more revenue, things like this. This will take place after March Madness from March 31st to Sunday, April 6th. And it will feature teams from the Big 10, the Big 12, and the Big East that did not make the March Madness tournament. And so you say, who are these teams? The professor's here to learn you. Washington State Cougars, Boise State Broncos, Oregon State Beavers, Villanova Wildcats, the FUSC Trojans, champ. Y'all up in the college basketball crown, suckers. Couldn't even make March Madness like my Bruins on both sides. Arizona State Sun Devils, I'm messing with you. Cincinnati Bearcats, DePaul Blue Demons, Butler Bulldogs. Shout out Butler here in Tennessee. Nebraska Cornhuskers, UCF Knights, that's Central Florida. Colorado Buffaloes, Utah Utes, and the Tulane Green Wave as well. Being a homer again, 2 more schools from the DMV. Shout out to the Georgetown Hoyas and George Washington Revolutionaries, both there in D.C., the capital of this amazing, amazing country. That being said, yes, I know I just hyped up the 2 teams from the DMV while I shouted down USC, but I still think it's funny. Ooh, Natasha Cloud's a beast. Yes. Shout out. Love me some Natasha Cloud. She be balling. That's a great pool right there. Let me know if you're watching the game as well, the Unrivaled game. Alicia tuning in. We appreciate it. Y'all make sure you hit that like button as well. Make sure you subscribe to Ball and Buds, BALLANDBUDS. Moving on, a couple more sports news before we get into our entertainment pop culture. Injuries to Tiger Woods. Uh-oh. Well, this past weekend, we found out Tiger Woods tore his Achilles tendon. This has been something that has bothered him for many, many years, since 2011, when he dealt with this in his actual active playing days. Now, we know Tiger has only been playing in the majors and other tournaments where he can be able to compete because father time caught up to him. He's about to be 50. He's had dealt with injuries his whole career. And no matter how much I love Tiger Woods or other people love Tiger Woods brought the game of golf to black and brown people, and for that he needs to be saluted. I would have probably never played golf in my life if it wasn't for Tiger Woods, and I actually love the game of golf because I did follow Tiger when I was a kid. You're not going to see him again in any substantial action. Not that we had anyways, or that you should have expected to. His real playing career was already finito, donezo, goodbye, you're gone. Here you go. Get out of here. See ya. Good night. Good night, bang. But we still love to see Tiger whenever we can. He now has the Tigers Golf League. I know that's not what it's called. I like to call it that facetiously because he's the main face of it. He won't be playing that for a little bit, it looks like, either, until this recovers. It's obviously a 9-month, year-long injury. Somebody his age, maybe even a little longer, but at least he can still be the face of TGL. He is also one of the main proponents or main protagonists in the talks between the PGA and LIV Golf in Saudi Arabia, trying to get them to do a merger, which, by the way, the update there is that you will be seeing a merger at some point, probably this year, in terms of agreements to merge organizations to let LIV players back into majors and things like that. But you won't actually see them come back together as one united golf league, probably for a while. Probably be a while before that happens. Speaking of golf, Rory McIlroy this morning won in overtime for the Players' Championship. He won a record $4.5 million, which, by the way, fun fact, back in 1974 when this tournament started, Jack Nicklaus won the first Players' Championship and he earned $50,000. It is now $4.5 million. That's a lot of inflation, a lot of buckaroos being passed around. But shout out to Rory McIlroy. Again, he played bad down the stretch yesterday, letting the other kid get into it. I forget the kid's name. I apologize. You played a great game, but you didn't win. So winners get the recognition on this show. There's no participation trophies in life. All right. Moving on to NBA. The Magic ended the Cavaliers' 16-game winning streak yesterday. Yes, the Cavs might even get to still 70 wins. They have a 16-game winning streak, a 15-game winning streak, and a 12-game winning streak. So the Cavs are doing some amazing balling this year. Also, Payton Pritchard, Boston's soon-to-be sixth man of the year. Shout out to my Celtics. He has now set an NBA record with his 219th three-pointer of a year. That is an NBA record for a bench player. The previous record, shout out to this name, Wayne Ellington, 218 threes off the bench for Miami in 2017-2018. Before we go to our rankings, NFL news, Jamar Chase and T. Higgins both re-signed in Cincinnati. What are you saying? Hey, Omar, how did that happen? Well, I believe I called this on the bottom line. Last summer, I called this when they said, well, what would you do with the Bengals players? And I said, I would sign all three of them. I would make sure I have Burrow, Higgins, and Chase signed to a long-term deal. I got laughed at. No, they can't do that. They don't have enough money. Well, boom, they do have enough money, and they finally did it. Bengals finally spending money like a professional damn franchise instead of whatever they've been doing for the past 50 years. You got to keep them. The only way the Bengals are going to win a Super Bowl is with that offense. It's through Joe Burrow and that offense. They need to fix that offensive line. If they have a run-of-the-mill top 15, top 20 defense, Joe Burrow can win them a Super Bowl with Jamar Chase and with T. Higgins. So shout out to the Bengals for doing what they finally did and had to do. But I called this last year and told them they need to do this before they wasted all this money that they could have saved signing these players the last 2 years. Like the damn Dallas Cowboys in here. Speaking of all other NFL news, Texans cornerback Derek Stingley Jr. is now the highest paid defensive back in NFL history, signing a 3-year, $90 million contract in over the weekend. And that will be it for our sports news and updates. But I do want to go ahead before we move into our entertainment and pop culture. Let's go ahead and go through our rankings for the week for our NHL, NBA, and MLB. Yes, baseball is coming back, baby. Baseball is back. So we're going to start giving our baseball power rankings. Let's go ahead and start off first with NBA, though. This week in our NBA power rankings, at number one, the aforementioned Cleveland Cavaliers. They are number one with a 56-11 record. At number two, the Oklahoma City Thunder, 56-12 record. At number three, my Boston Celtics, 49 wins, 19 losses. At number four, the Golden State Warriors, y'all. I'm telling y'all, see, y'all come here because y'all know how smart the professor is. Y'all come here because y'all know I'm always right on everything I say. Every prediction always turns out to be right. I called this. I said when Golden State traded for Jimmy Butler, this was going to change the whole dynamic of the team, and they were going to make a deep playoff run. They won 12-1 since they 13-1 after last night since they traded for Jimmy Butler. Warriors on the rise. And at number five, I have to finally mention them. You know how much I hate them and their main player. You know, I'm a LeBron hater. But the Lakers have been doing their thing since they traded for Luka Doncic. They are now 41 wins, 25, and in 5th place in the NBA.com power rankings. Not my personal power rankings, or they'd be all the way at the bottom because the fakers suck. Hot take, Jake. Get the hell out of here. All right. Moving on. NHL power. I love you, hot take, Jake. Moving on to the NHL power rankings. Hey, y'all. We got to update you on that OV watch. Alex Ovechkin scored another goal in the past week. He is now 8 goals shy of Wayne Gretzky's record of 895 goals. So we will see what happens there, but they still got about 15 games left, so he still can go 1 goal every other 2-game average to break the record by the end of the season. And, hey, his team is happy that he is still the old Alex Ovechkin, old being a key word because he is old, but he's still great. He's still Alex the Great, Alexander the Great, because his team, the Washington Capitals, shout out the DMV, are number 1 in the NHL.com power rankings, 43 wins, 14 losses, 8 draws. At number 2, the Winnipeg Jets, 45 wins, 17 losses, 4 draws. At number 3, the Dallas Stars, 42 wins, 20 losses, and 2 draws. As well, the defending champion Florida Panthers at number 4 with 40 wins, 22 losses, and 3 draws. And rounding out the top 5, the Las Vegas Golden Knights, actually called just Vegas Golden Knights, 38 wins, 19 losses, 7 draws. I actually like that. I think I like Vegas better than Las Vegas. Maybe we should just be the Vegas Raiders instead of the Las Vegas. No, I take that back. I like Las Vegas Raiders better. I take that back. All right, moving on to our Major League Baseball power rankings next week. We will have our MLB insider for Ball and Buds, Mike Wiebe. Will be back on the program. It has been way too long since we spoke with him last year, to be exact, as the playoffs were starting. We missed talking with him. By the way, happy birthday, my redheaded friend. I love you. It was his birthday this past weekend, so we give a shout out to my brother Wiebe. And we'll have him on next week to preview the MLB season, either on my show or the Bottom Line, or maybe even both. We'll see what happens. At number 1 in the MLB power rankings, I mean, who did we think it was going to be? The Los Angeles Dodgers. They have bought their way to the front of the pack, and deservedly so. They have Shohei. They have Yamamoto. They have Mookie Betts. They have Freddie Freeman. I mean, there's a damn gluttony of talent over there, and they're going to open up the season here this week in a 2-game series starting in Japan. Yes, they are trying to leverage that Shohei Ohtani star power. I believe that 2-game series starts tomorrow, I believe. Every other game, by the way, the rest of the MLB season starts on Thursday. So if you're looking for your team to play, all MLB teams will play Thursday. In number 2, the Atlanta Braves, as I like to call them, the Atlanta need to change the name. Hey, you don't get excluded from this. If the Commanders had to change their name, y'all got to change your name too. If no more for the fact that I'm a Mets fan and I hate y'all, and I want y'all to have to suffer the name change. That's pretty much the only reason why. Arizona Diamondbacks at number 3. You're asking yourselves, what? Why are the Diamondbacks so high? Well, if you remember the past few years, they have been in the playoff race in and out every year with a really good team. So we'll see if that holds out to be the case. I don't know if I'm that high on them this year. At number 4, another one of my most hated teams, the Philadelphia Scumbag Phillies. And at number 5, only the best team in the league and above the hated rivals, the Fankies, the Skankies, the Spankies, my New York Metropolitans. At number 5, the Juan Soto era starts. Francisco Lindor, Edwin Diaz, the Puerto Rican powerhouse duo, Pete Alonso, the polar bear, back in the easy. Let's go, Metropolitans. We start with Hot Take Jake and his hottest take of the week. What's good, brother? What you got for us?
Well, this one's going to hurt you a little, but I was studying the NBA a lot this week, and I know I had to get pre-MLB last week, but this one's I have to be here, bro.
Here we go.
Omar, who's the favorites of the NBA this year?
That would be my defending, reigning, undisputed Boston Celtics from Beantown, baby. Let's go.
I hate to do this to you, Omar, but I'm about to go dramatically on this.
Uh-oh.
Not only do I believe in, if y'all haven't heard my takes before, I also believe that the Celtics championship last year was a farce, false prophet, nothing real. One of the most asterisk championships of all time. All of them. But after seeing what I saw this weekend, Omar, I had to double down on this take. After what I've seen in the West with the Nuggets, with the way the Warriors are constructing themselves now.
The Warriors look good.
The way I feel the Lakers will be looking once LeBron gets back.
I mean, we didn't expect anything
The way OKC already looks.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah. Agreed.
I think Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum will never, ever win another ring again. And let me tell you why.
Jay, wait. Go ahead.
I think we are done. I think the Giannis train came in and ran real fast. I really do believe the Celtics era just walked in and ran right out that fast. Guys, let me preference this. Hold on, no more. Think about this. You got a juggernaut of 4 West teams that I think could beat the Celtics on any given Sunday. Right? Wemby and Swiper no swiping, De'Aaron Fox ain't just going to be sitting around the next 2 years. So not only do I believe the Celtics can win this year, but even when LeBron retires and maybe Jimmy starts digressing with Steph, Wemby's on his way up. I was talking to a couple friends and they literally said, hey, bro, do you think the Celtics 2-peat or maybe even 3-peat? And I thought long and hard on a lonely Saturday morning working. You know, bagging up my chips everywhere I could. Thinking hard, Omar. And I was watching that Nuggets game recently, and I said, damn it, man. What am I looking at? This West is loaded.
The West loaded.
Omar, I have to call a spade a spade. I think the Taysom Brown era will be known as the one luck. They're going to remind me of that Celtics championship that happened in 2008. That Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce still talk about like they were the greats.
Let me see what past Canteen would say about that. Canteen?
Now, let me cap it on. Are you talking about the year that Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, and Ray Allen, that year when they played the Lakers in 2008?
That lucky year that they were practically lucky that
lucky
Kobe
if Kendrick
was not.
Perkins wouldn't have got hurt in 2010, we would have won that one too. So stop it, please stop.
All right. So here's all I'm saying right now, man. As I said, man, the rubber meets the road during this time of season, guys. We're coming to a close of March. I mean, March is rapidly closing, guys. April will shortly be here. Now, as we see, the Cavaliers are 56-11. The Celtics are 49-19. Celtics are 7.5 games behind. I'm not really pressed about that at all. Now, Jake made a good point about the West. The Thunder are 56-12. Rockets are 44-25. The Nuggets are tied with them. And then you have the Lakers, who are shortly thereafter, Grizzlies, and then the Warriors. The West, they have a really, really good cast, and they're playing well, man. The only thing that I really want to caveat on is, like, I got on one of my favorite players' jerseys, Draymond. Draymond had a lot of mouth during the All-Star game, and he ran his mouth. He said a lot of different things. Now, here's the thing. The West is going to have to step up their game and really play when it comes to the finals. I believe in the Celtics. And I think that whoever goes against the Celtics from the East, and if the Celtics make it to the finals, they're going to make them run 7 games. It's going to be 7 games, Jake. It ain't going to be no 5. It ain't going to be no sweep or gentleman sweep. It's going to be at least 7 games.
Do you believe that iron sharpens iron? Here's what I mean by this.
No, iron sharpens iron. And here's what I think you're getting at. I think that if I can pour into you, you can pour into me, and we can help one another. I think that's what you're getting at.
But what I'm saying is the West is so loaded. These guys are building. Each game's a championship series in a month from now in the Western Conference. And I don't see that in the East at all. And I believe that's why LeBron and the Wade era failed them, and they went 2 for 4, because while the West was killing each other, the Thunder and the Spurs of that era, and they were all fighting each other out.
So when you look at the East, man, you got your Cavs, your Celtics, your Knicks, and your
I'm not counting the Cavs. I've been trying to tell you, I don't believe in the freaking Cavs. Stop doing that.
You don't think the Cavs got any
They
firepower?
suck. They are the Hawks of last decade.
Come on,
bro.
Now.
I'm calling a spade, man.
Don't do that to
Really?
them. Don't do that to the Cavs. The Cavs have a winning streaks of 15, 16, and 12 this year. They are definitely not the Hawks.
You don't remember when the Hawks had the number 1 seed against the Cavs in the Lakers? The Cavs with LeBron.
But this team is actually well put together. This team has a good core, has Donovan Mitchell, who people don't want to admit is a
star.
In this league.
Stop it, Omar. I'm going to throw up right now. The fact that you call Donovan Mitchell a damn superstar is a damn slap in the face.
Well, what do you
think of it, Omar? I know you're going to hate on this.
No, I think Donovan Mitchell's a pretty decent basketball player, man. Well-rounded, decent basketball player. He ain't a scrub. He's not a dud. He's decent.
I personally have put on my shades, not just because the professor's mixed bag is coming up, and I need to be wearing my shades in honor of St. Patrick's Day, top of the afternoon and evening to you. No, I'm going to shade this because it's one of the worst arguments I've ever heard in my whole entire life. So you're telling me that you believe the Boston Celtics will not win the championship this year and repeat not because of anybody in the East or the league leading Cavaliers for 56 wins. No. But because of the Lakers or the Warriors in the West. Not even giving the proper respect to Oklahoma City, to Houston, to Memphis. You didn't mention any of those teams except OKC, and you just ran right by them like they're chopped liver. I don't want to hear none of that. Boston Celtics, number 1 team in the league, reigning defending champions. No one is going to stand in our way. We have 2 of the top 10 players in the league in Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. We have our 6th man of the year, Payton Pritchard. We've got Al Horford looking like a 24-year-old Al Horford. I got the game on in the background. It's so beautiful.
I'm watching the game right now, too.
How about you drown in your Lakers tears somewhere else? Because I ain't got time for it.
We ain't got time for it.
Canteen, let me ask you one question.
All right, go ahead, bro.
Because I know Omar's too biased to answer this one.
Okay, good. Come on, man.
When the Celtics won in 2008, and they won that championship with Kevin Garnett, Ray Allen, Rajon Rondo, and Paulie Pierce.
I'm glad you know the whole team. Sounds like a fan.
Hold on. When they won that championship, they were still prime. Did you really think that was going to be their only one at that time? When 2008 ended, was that the one you really thought that was it? They were never going to win another one again.
Now, I'll be honest. Boston, let me say this. Boston, if they had been healthy in 10, them guys would have went on the run, man. I'm telling you.
Thank you.
2010,
I don't think you beat prime Kobe.
I was deployed. And if they had a healthy squad, Jake, listen to what I'm telling you. They would have cleaned house.
They lost the year after to Dwight Howard and a bunch of scrubs in Orlando. I don't want to hear that.
Come on, bro.
I don't think I need to say this again. You beat a team without Kendrick Perkins. Kendrick Perkins was our rock, was our boulder.
The big man.
One of the biggest reasons we won that championship. If he was there, y'all would not have won that championship.
Kendrick Perkins is the key factor?
Yes. I can't believe that came out of my mouth. But I love Big Perk. And he was a crucial factor. If he would not have hurt his knee in that game 5, we would have won that series.
They would have won, Jake.
Now, we'll see what happens. We'll talk a little bit more NBA in a little bit. Thank you, Jake, for your hot take of the week. Can you face the center of the camera, by the way? I don't know why you're always looking to the right or the left or wherever you're looking, but you're always like off center. All right. There we go. Damn, I don't know why I just didn't say that a long time ago. All right. Let's look at some comments here. Stop looking at me like that. Champ Ross. Hey,
what up, brother?
What's up, brother? We see you tuning in, a Broncos fan. Him and Hot Take Jake Hope go have Broncos tears and beers on the weekends. He says, I'm ready for March Madness. Got my picks. Hey, I got to submit those brackets tonight. Make sure y'all get those in before noon on Thursday, because once it kicks off, it's going to be kicking off. Canteen, while I'm doing this, please, by the way, make sure that we are in the Bottom Line Sports Facebook group shared there, please. If we're not,
Yeah, I got you, bro. Make sure we in there.
Champ Ross says OKC getting disrespected. Right. I think Jake just blowing over them like they don't have the number 2 in the league with 55 wins. Oh, get out of here with that. He says the Warriors ain't going nowhere in the playoffs. They have no size, and their shooting has taken a big hit. With Wiggins gone, they have no outside shooting beyond Curry that can be depended on. I actually disagree with this take. I believe that the defense and Jimmy Bucket's playoff experience will actually help them over the top. Jake, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I think experience is going to matter. Not only that, we saw Jimmy Butler carry a depleted Heat team with less stars and make it to the finals. I told you, and I think it's going to be a heavyweight fight between LA versus Golden State here soon. I can't wait to see who wins it because I'm a fan of Jimmy, and you know I love my LeBron, the greatest of all time. So it's going to be a chase.
We know you hang on to the genitals of both those gentlemen.
Yeah, of course.
Can't think.
This piece of shit.
Hey, man, here's what I think, man. And I'm going to be honest with you, Professor and Jake. If Steph Curry can pull what he pulled the other night, I think when they played the Knicks or somebody, when he pulled that record with those threes, if the Warriors are a complete team in the playoffs, I think they'll be dangerous coming out of the West. I think they'll be dangerous. But like I said, Draymond Green was the one who was running his mouth. He ran his mouth during the All-Star break, but he ain't really been playing up to snuff. But if the Warriors get hot, they'll be a dangerous team in the playoffs, I think.
I mean, they already are hot, though. Since they traded for Jimmy Butler, they're 13? I think they're 13-1. I remember they're 12-1. I think they won last night, so they're 13-1 since they traded for Jimmy Butler.
They got 2 losses now. They lost
13-2. So they're 13-2 in the past 15 games since they traded for Jimmy Butler. The Warriors are already ascending, and while I do like to hate on the fakers, they are there too. They have been getting better. Now we'll see what this injury with LeBron does. While they only have Luka, if they can hold up, I think they will be fine. But we'll see what happens there. All right, cool. Let's run through some more comments here. Champ Ross, thank you for letting us know how you feel in the comments. Jay talking about the Spurs, right? Yeah, he's all up high on Wemby, which I give him, but not yet. Few more years, please. Cavs and OKC have to be the most disrespectful number 1 seeds I can remember. It's pretty crazy that there's such young teams there at number 1. But I also believe that just because they're at number 1 isn't truly an indicator if they're going to win the title or not. Mobley and Allen are a prop defensive juggernaut right there. That's a defensive juggernaut front court right there. Jake doesn't like Max. Jake hates on everybody, so we know that. He also says Jake has a Paul Pierce jersey in.
Right, he probably do.
Let's go.
Bullshit. Bull crap.
Clubber D, thank you for tuning in, says the Phoenix Suns may win the NIT. How do we feel about that?
That team is done, bro.
Yeah,
I feel bad for that team.
Let me ask you guys something to intercede on this.
Yes.
Where does Durant? I mean, what's Durant's fate gonna look like, guys? I know that's a random question to just pop up.
I know I got laughed at last year when I said he was Rudy Gay of this generation now, and
he's not Rudy Gay. He is not Rudy Gay. Will you please stop the disrespect of Kevin Durant? I will not let this besmirchment.
He's a better version of Rudy Gay, Omar. He's a better version of Rudy Gay. He does some stats, does a little bit of here, there, Jake, and doesn't make anything shake in the NBA anymore. I'm sorry. I'm calling a spade a spade.
Is Kevin Durant not a top 10 scorer of all time?
He is.
That's how I don't know about that anymore.
What?
I don't know, Omar.
Jake, come on, Jake.
My man is averaging 28 this year, and you're telling me you don't know about that
Jake.
anymore?
It would be like telling me Carmelo's a top 10 scorer of all time.
I mean, he's at least top 20.
That's what I'm thinking now. I'm thinking Durant has to do that.
Whatever. Durant is still on top of his game, still scoring a boatload.
Is he closer to LeBron's legacy or Rudy Gay's legacy?
LeBron's legacy.
Stop that. Stop that. You sound.
Legacy.
Come on, man.
Kevin Durant will go down as a top 50 player in the NBA of all time. Rudy Gay wouldn't even sniff the top 200.
Son of a gun, this guy go crazy.
Shoot that shot, baby. You know how I do. All right, let's get into my mixed bag. First of all, let's give a shout out to Dick Vitale, who could have called his last game this past weekend. Saturday night, Dick Vitale called his supposed to be last game on ESPN with the things that he has gone through with his cancer in his throat and all of that, which, damn, man, talk about a curse when you have one of the greatest voices. Of all time, and he gets throat cancer, and it's like, man, you're just taking away this sweet, sweet voice from us. How do y'all feel about this, gentlemen? Canteen, go ahead and start us off.
Man, Dick Vitale is like the epitome of, man, everything that you want in an announcer, to announce the games, to hype up the game, to bring the liveliness to a NCAA basketball game. There is no one on God's green earth that can act, that can do what this guy does. I mean, it's natural for him. I mean, I've never seen a guy his age that's hype, he brings a liveliness that nobody else brings to the game of basketball, man. I mean, he will be greatly missed. He's irreplaceable, man. You can't replace a guy like that. You can't, man. You can't, man. You can't.
I agree completely. Dick Vitale, I mean, from just all of his one-liners, the PTPers, you know what I'm saying? All that, man. Just getting, like you said, getting you hyped up. There's only a few people in sports that can do that sort of thing. And he is the foremost voice in basketball, at least. Jake, what do you got?
Yeah, it hurts, man, to hear that. No doubt in my mind, Dick Vitale is probably a top 3 announcer. If I got John Madden 1, okay, I'm going to probably go, and I forget his name from college football, the one with Joe Klatt all the time. What's his name?
Gus Johnson.
There you go, Gus Johnson, number 2. And I always got Dick Vitale, number 3, all time. These guys solidify. They make the game better just listening to whenever they talk. I literally want to hear them. They can make a bad game sound good. That's when you have become elite of elitists. The greatest of all time.
Right there. Now he's right. PT Pierre, yeah. Trent Ross is absolutely right about the diaper Danny and all that stuff. He put a whole different spin on the game of basketball, man. He did.
Yeah,
man.
he brought his own flair and everything into the commentary that followed him around when other people wanted to emulate his sayings and wanted be as great as a commentator as Dick Vitale has been forever.
Me lag out?
I think he went out. But yeah, like the caveat on what the professor was saying before he went out, man. The things that Dick Vitale was saying, Diaper Dan and PT Pierre, I mean, those were some of the prominent things that Dick Vitale professed and announced during his time, that he was, doing the different games. And I'll caveat on what Jake was saying, like one of my favorite announcers, man. I'm a big CBS guy, man. So I'm an SEC fan, and I like to hear Vern Lundquist. He's one of my favorites. And the guys that host the CBS games on Saturdays, I don't know their names, but like I said, Vern Lundquist is one of my favorites. I like Vitale as well, and like I said, the guy that we're talking about. So waiting on the professor to pop back in, man. I think he's gonna come back in.
Yeah, you're good. Here's what I'll ask you right now. The MLB started yesterday with the Dodgers getting their first win. I saw Shohei Ohtani, man, and it just seems like no fears in this guy. I think we're looking at a new era with the way he's looking. What do you think his height of Shohei Ohtani can be this year? Because, man, I'm thinking we might be looking at the next face of baseball for the next 10 years.
So for me, man, I think Shohei Ohtani is going to have a phenomenal season. I think the MLB, man, I think they made a huge mistake, man. I was up around like 3-4 o'clock this morning, and they had the baseball game in, I think it was Japan or somewhere they had it at. So, I mean, you had East Coast people getting up at like 3-4 and other people getting up like 5 a.m. or whatever, but I didn't watch it or anything like that. It's not the official beginning of the official season, but I guess it's whatever. And I don't know if people journeyed or traveled over there, but I think Shohei Ohtani is going to have a stellar season, man. I think he's going to have I think he didn't have the distractions that he had with the guy that was embezzling his money and all that stuff. So I think he has his head on right, and I think he's going to do some phenomenal things, man. I think so.
Omar, with you gone, I was asking him, I said, hey, man, with the start of baseball season starting practically yesterday, Shohei walking in, I was asking him are we looking at the next decade of the face of baseball right now? What do you think, partner?
I mean, not only is he the next decade of baseball, he already is the face of baseball and has been for the past, few years. And so
I had people fight me out. Hold on. People were fighting me saying Mike Trout is still that. Is that true or not? You think Shohei took over?
Mike Trout hasn't played.
I was getting killed.
No, Mike Trout hasn't even played half a season in like 5 years. So no, he can't even stay healthy on the field. That's not even close. Love Mike Trout, but no. Once he can actually stay healthy, then maybe. But he hasn't completed a full season in over like 5 years. So no, that's horrible. Whoever had that is a fair weather baseball fan. What I will say about this is that they are doing exactly what you said. They are leveraging the star power of their Japanese players. Shohei Ohtani, their starting pitcher Yamamoto, who they signed last year, and the new starting pitcher, the real young 23-year-old flamethrower that they signed this year, who goes at 6 a.m. tomorrow, Roki Sasaki. And so they are leveraging that because they have such a big, huge Japanese audience that they need to do that to make that money. Why wouldn't they? It would make no sense for them not to do that. So I think it's a perfect way to open the season. While I would like it to be when I could watch it, I understand what they're doing for the game of baseball. So in order for me to sacrifice and watch the game when I wake up instead of live, whatever, I'll take it if it helps make the game better.
Yeah. And I think they're doing it more for diversity, more for the culture, to expand it to overseas and to try to get more people intertwined and to raise awareness for other cultures to understand what we do and how we do it on this side in America as well.
Yep. And just to let everybody know, the Dodgers won 4-1. Ohtani was 2 for 4. So good start for Ohtani there. Thank y'all for that, because that was actually my next story in the mixed bag. That's why we work so well together, bro.
I was guessing, my brother. I was guessing. Let me get another story.
Let's go through some comments here real quick. Champ says you learned something new about basketball when you listen to Vitale. That's so true.
Absolutely. You do.
Morning Wombat. Shout out. We appreciate you tuning in. He says, y'all think UCSD, University of San Diego, can hang with Michigan? Michigan has the 2 7-footers, but UCSD can shoot the 3 and plays pretty good defense for a small ball team. Jake, what do you think about UCSD versus Michigan? He is right. They do have those 2 big 7-footers on the front court that run the pick and roll very, very well. And so it's hard to deal with that as well, though. As he mentioned, USCD, say that 5 times fast, is a very good small ball in terms of defense, in terms of hitting jump shots. What do you think about this?
Here's the thing. Is the ball going to fall? That's the thing. If their threes are falling, I get it. And that is the thing that I love about March Madness. It's one and you're done. There's no round 2, round 3. It's one and done. The thing is, in that same bracket, I don't think that's the upset. I do believe that Michigan's going to slow the game down. It's more of a coach's league in terms of it. And I think they're going to just play pick and roll with them the whole time. The upset I have actually is I think Yale will end up beating Texas A&M. Y'all heard it here first. Get ready for that one.
Whoa!
In the same bracket. Get ready. I got
Yale. Hey, Jake, we are here today, brother, because I have that Yale upset as well. Yale over.
I was working on my bracket beforehand, bro. I was looking at.
I agree.
You heard it here first.
I agree. Now, what about? Now, what? Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Can you want?
No, I was just saying. Yeah, I said, man, I'm surprised Flo ain't in here flapping his gums.
Right.
Flo we want to intercede. Go ahead, man. You go, bro.
No. What about this game here, though? Do you have UCSD or Michigan, Canty?
I'm a big Izzo fan, man. I like Tom Izzo.
That's the same state, wrong team.
Oh,
but I love you anyways.
That's right. You talking about Wolverine? You talking about Juwan Howard's old team?
Old team. Yeah, he don't coach there no more. I forget who coaches there now, but
I forgot. Yeah, he's a professional coach now.
But yeah, who you got? Michigan or USCSD? Who you got?
I'm gonna go UCSD, man. UCSD.
Yes. And what about you, Jake?
Man? I'm gonna go against the grain on this one, bro.
I got Michigan, bro. I got Michigan winning
in that one?
It's gonna be. They're gonna slow it down. They're gonna win that game. That's my. There won't be an upset that one. Like I said, yeah. There's no way. I don't see that happening.
Well, I'm going to have to agree with Canteen and go against you on this one, brother. UCSD has been absolutely red hot the past few weeks. Michigan has won 12 games by only 4 points, and they're coming off a grueling Big Ten tournament, which I think wore them down. I got the upset here, UC San Diego beating Michigan. All right. There you go, Morning Wombat. Thank you. Hey, all y'all, make sure you join the Bottom Line Sports Facebook group as well. Subscribe to the Final Say Pod and Ball and Buds on YouTube. We thank you for tuning in. Hit that like button. It is free. It helps us out in the algorithm. All right, more notes in the mailbag. Ovechkin watch. He is 8 goals shy of 895 goals to break Wayne Gretzky's record. We don't need to talk about it, as you've heard us talk about it here before. I just wanted to give you an update. 8 goals shy, about 15 goals left, so still on the same goal every other 2-game average that he needs. Moving on, Unrivaled 3-on-3 women's basketball. We talked about this a bunch. They have crowned their initial champion. They are the Rose, led by Chelsea Gray, who had 18 points, 8 assists last night, beating Ryan Howard's Vinyl 62-54. Also named their MVP of the Unrivaled League's first inaugural season, Nafisia Collier. Unfortunately, her team was bounced in the semifinals. What did y'all think about this new 3-on-3 women's basketball league that keeps the players here instead of having to go overseas to make their money?
I'm a fan. Oh, go ahead, Canteen. You go first.
My bad. Yeah, I should have directed.
I think it's a great idea. Keep them local. Keep them here to generate money, and I think it intrigues the fans here. Generate revenue. Keeps it hype. Keeps it interesting. It keeps things going. Keeps things afloat for me. That's what I think.
Yeah. No, I mean, I agree. I think that the WNBA dropped the ball since they have not paid their players enough money to keep them from going overseas and keeping something like a Brittany Griner and Russia situation happening, which obviously they don't want to happen to anyone. So yeah, now that this gives them another outlet to stay here in the United States and still make money, and it's a 3-on-3 concept, so I think that's pretty cool. So yeah, I agree. I think it's good for women's basketball in general. Jake, what are your thoughts on this? If you are, there he is.
Yeah, I'm happy for it. Not only that, I think. See, I'm not trying to be rude, but I think Ice Cube dropped the ball with that big 3. It's not as big as it was in the early ones.
Right.
I just hope that they make it smarter. They make it more intriguing, especially with the downtime that you have usually after the Super Bowl. You can really make people interested, especially if you get your star players to start playing during that time. So my hope is, and my goal is, that they would be able to do that. I liked it. It was a good watch. It was nothing bad to watch. As long as it's great gameplay and I can tell that they're trying, I think people will tend to stay watching.
Yeah.
All right. Awesome. Yeah. Moving on to golf. If you watch golf this weekend, shout out Rory McIlroy for winning the Players' Championship in overtime, 3 holes. They had to move it to Monday, which is a bad look. Golf, you got to keep it on Sunday. Put some lights on. Do something. I know it got dark, but you cannot lose that momentum and wait till the next day and then start at 9 a.m. because you lose your whole viewership that you had going on. I had it on in the background, but I wasn't even paying attention much because I had to be working on my stuff. So what do y'all think about Rory McIlroy winning the Players' Championship? Anybody got
Rory McIlroy, man, a phenomenal kid, man. I think he was the guy that the police stopped him and did some crazy stuff to him a year or so ago, man. Phenomenal golf player, man. I think these guys are really, really setting the stage, Professor, getting into the groove, man. I think these guys are really, really priming and preparing themselves, man. The Masters golf tournament is like in the next 2 weeks. And I mean, that's a huge deal beginning on August the 7th through the 13th out in Augusta, Georgia, man. I'm kind of excited to see who's, the next in the chute to get the green jacket, man. I mean, Tiger, I don't think Tiger's really, doing too much at this point. I know he's had a lot of nagging injuries and stuff, throughout the season, but I know Rory McIlroy is a up and coming big wig, big gun that's going to do some great things in the future in the golf arena, man.
And just to clarify one thing, it was Scotty Scheffler, not Rory McIlroy, who got into the incident with the police last year.
Thank you, Professor.
You're very welcome, sir. Just wanted to help us out here. Jake, what do you think about Rory McIlroy winning the Players' Championship?
Congrats to him. I do believe, though, golf is at a miss right now, only because they have not found their next Tiger. As much as they try and say they have not. There's nothing that's keeping our butts in the seat to watch. And I agree with you. The second they took it off Sunday, I know nobody watched it on Monday. I bet you their viewership will plummeted because everybody goes back to work, all that. I don't care if it's spring break for half the U.S. I think in the end, a lot of people were back to their regular time scheduled shows. It sucks for that. They need to do things to benefit it. That's what I'll say. Congrats to Rory, though.
Yeah, I agree. Really, just a miss there, not completing the 3 holes when you had the chance and had the viewers in your hand, and then going so early in the morning too is also hurting. You could have gone in the afternoon or something like that, make it a little later in the day when more people could have watched. I will agree on the whole Tiger factor. I updated this on my show yesterday. Shameless plug. Watch the Professor Semanalmente every Monday on Ball and Buds, BALLANDBUDS. But I pointed out how this weekend Tiger Woods suffered an Achilles injury and needed surgery and will be out for at least 9 months to a year. And seeing how he wasn't competitive playing anyways anymore, he's sticking to mostly being in the TGL, his golf league that they got going on right now on ESPN, the virtual league, and as well being the ambassador between the PGA and LIV tour as they try to work out a merger deal between those two conglomerations.
To caveat, Professor, man, I was just sitting here, man. I was looking at something when we were talking about golf, man. To go to the Masters golf tournament, fellas, 4 days worth of golf. The cheapest ticket, you guys want to know the price? $8,980 for 4 days.
Damn.
Watching a 4-day pass of watching the golf tournament at the Masters, man. StubHub.
Wow.
That's not including hotel, airfare, food, spirits, and wine. It's pretty expensive, fellas.
Damn. Yeah, that's a lot of money for a 4-day trip to watch some golf. I might have to grab the day pass on that. You know what I'm saying? And keep it moving.
Right.
All right, cool. Well, let's keep it moving here. Thank y'all for tuning in as always. Shout out to Mac Whitham. Made history when she entered the Gotham Football Club's match against the Seattle Reign Saturday night. She became the youngest player ever to play in a National Women Soccer League game at, get this, you all, 14 years old. 14 years old. She subbed out a world champion and played against grown-ass adults in a soccer game. Shout out Mac Whitham, because she is an amazing, amazing woman. What do y'all think about this?
I mean, just what you just said. I mean, that just covers all the bases.
Yeah.
That's
crazy,
pretty good,
right?
keeping up with a bunch of adults to do that. 14 years old.
Oh, yeah.
That is wild.
14-year-old, that is wild. I agree. I would not be able to keep up with world-class athletes. So shout out again to
Mac. I mean being very athletic. Keeping up with adults. That's something major, man.
Yeah, you got to have a lot more stamina, all that stuff, just to keep up with the speed and strength and all that. Yeah, you're right.
Oh, yeah.
And then finally, one last note in the Professor's Mixed Bag. Matt Richtum, shout out. First American male to win the Los Angeles Marathon since 1994. So shout out to Matt Richtman for winning the Los Angeles Marathon. And that is your Professor's Mixed Bag. Bag. All right, cool. Again, thank y'all for tuning in. I see, unfortunately, I apologize about dropping out there for a second when I did. Lost me for a minute because something happened on this side with my Ethernet plug-in when I was trying to turn the computer the other way. So hopefully whoever was watching before has rejoined us. I saw a couple people drop off there. Clubber D says, female Freddie Adu. Yeah, that's a great comp. Very well done. If no one remembers Freddie Adu, he was a player from the DMV, and he also was about 14 years old when he starred in the MLS. He then subsequently flamed out, though, because that's usually too young for most people. What do you think about that? Freddie Adu did end up flaming out.
Hopefully it doesn't repeat.
Subscribe on YouTube at Ball and Buds for sports and entertainment.